Hello and welcome to Helping Other People Excel, or HOPE as our name is spelled, a little acronym, Helping Other People Excel, and that's what we hope to do for you today. We want to help you excel in many areas of your life, whatever areas we can, and I've been learning some things here and hope to share them with you so that you can benefit from them as well. So as usual, I'd like to thank our sponsors first off, and of course WCET Television for recording this broadcast, and JB and Alan back there working behind the scenes doing all the work that they do to make this show possible, editing and so on, and of course the final production. So thank you guys for all your fine help, and sure I'm enjoying this nice new digital equipment that we have at the studio now. They got all new equipment recently, and it's high definition now and digital and all the high-tech stuff, so we're having fun playing with that. But aside from that, pampermenaturally.com is a website that you can go to find some nice fine quality chemical-free lotions and soaps for you and your family. And if your skin could talk, it would say pamper me naturally. So we'd like you to visit there and check out their fine products. You can order through them, or you could just give me a call, 616-799-0517, or drop me an email at jim.pate@gmail.com, and we can help you get some of those fine products anyway. So they started out trying to create a product for their family so that it didn't have all the chemicals in it that are so often found in today's modern products, and that's kind of just turned into a family business for them now. So they have that going, and it's coming along real nicely, and the products are wonderful. I use their soap all the time, and smells nice, good essential oils, not the fragrance oils that you oftentimes find in today's soap products or lotion products. But they have lip balms and lotions, soap, all kinds of things. So drop by their website, pampermenaturally.com, and take a look at those fine products, and order some. Let them know that you heard about this on WCET and Helping Other People Excel. So along with that, Perry's Place in Cedar Springs on 90 North Main Street in Cedar Springs, Michigan. They carry fine herbs and teas and more. They also have massage therapy and acupuncture and various things like that, but all designed to improve your body's health. And we want to work with your emotional health, your mental health, your leadership abilities and skills. That's what we want to work with here on HOPE. But if you can meet up with our sponsors, you'll get a well-rounded improvement of your entire self, and that should bring you more hope and help you excel in your day-to-day life. So thanks for stopping by and visiting us today. Appreciate the time that you let us spend with you, 30 minutes, and it seems like it goes by so fast, but we look forward to spending this time with you, and I hope that you get a huge benefit from this. Again, if you do, something we've said touched your heart or life, drop us a line at jim.pate@gmail.com. That's jim.pate, P-A-T-E, you'll see it on your screen, at gmail.com. Or give me a call, 616-799-0517, and I'll be happy to talk to you, and sure appreciate hearing if we've been able to touch you in some way and improve your life. So thank you so much for that. I'm always reading good books. I've read several of them over and over. It seems like the good ones you have to read more than once. And the one I'm working on now is a book by Les Giblin, How to Have Power and Confidence in Dealing with People. And it's a really good book. You can find that on my website. JB will put that on the screen for you, and if you go there, you can buy a copy there at a reasonable price. Make them expensive. It's not about making a profit. It's helping you get the right information for your life and yourself. This is one of 5 really good ones that I'm sure there's more than 5, but there's 5 that I refer to a lot. And The Magic of Thinking Big, Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, and Frank Bettcher's How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling, and of course the book about Personalities Plus, which is a really good one on learning different people's personalities and why they are the way they are. always a fun book to read. So you'll learn a lot about yourself as well while you're reading that book, because it tells you a lot about all the personalities, and one of them is bound to be you, and you'll, I'm sure, recognize some of those traits and go, oh yeah, that's one I've got, or oh, I know a guy that acts like that. So it's a lot of fun as you read, but it's these new things that we learn that not only are fun and exciting, but as we learn to apply these features, these skills in our day-to-day life, we can watch our lives improve, and indeed we will excel in our day-to-day lives. And that's why our show is called Hope, helping other people excel, because we want to help you excel by passing on these principles that I wish I would have learned 30 years ago or more. Should have learned them as a young man. My life would have been way different already, but I'm definitely excited about what I've learned thus far. Last 3 years probably I've been studying this stuff, and it's definitely made a difference in my life, and I know that it will in yours as well as you follow through and read some of these principles. But the one I've been reading about lately this week is about listening, and how listening is so important. And it was Oliver Wendell Holmes, I believe, that said that he kind of compared it to, what you would say white magic was his quote. It's a skill that when you learn to apply it, it seems like magic, possibly, and so many times we kind of cringe when we hear the word magic, and I kind of do myself, but it truly is magical in its effect, and how when we listen to other people, it just really changes the dynamics of our relationship, of our conversation, and just really makes a huge difference. And so I wanted to talk to you about that some today. Seems like some of the CDs I've been listening to recently are talking about that as well, and I think that kind of is what led me to this topic for today, because it just seems like very important. A lot of stress is put on it, and so oftentimes we behave in a way that we think too much of ourselves. We want our own ego to be fed. We want our own, we want to impress people about ourselves. And they talk about in this book about how if you really want to impress others, the best thing you can do is listen, because that listening makes the difference on how they perceive you. If you're, I was listening to a CD, they were talking about one-upping, or so oftentimes you hear somebody tell a story and you think of one in your own mind, and you say, well, yeah, that reminds me of a story, or not long ago something happened to me, and you kind of one-up them. You tell a little bit better story than theirs was. Maybe they talk about what a great vacation they had, and you think about, yeah, I had a great vacation once too. I went to, and you start talking about all the things that you did, again, to try and impress them about your qualities and your whatever. But in doing so, you tend to kind of minimize their accomplishments and their things that they're proud of. And instead, we should be good listeners. We should listen through what they have to say and not try to one-up them or talk about a better story that you had, but rather indeed say, you might instead say, well, I understand how that feels. I had something similar to happen to me. And you can relate that, but not try to up them or top their story. Story topping, I guess they call it. So it's important to listen to them and listen to the good points that they've got in their story, and then appreciate those with them, rather than talk about your own story. Say, wow, that's pretty neat what you did there, and pretty amazing, and you just really kind of instead reinforce and support the story that they heard or that they told, and that makes them feel good. And then when they get done with visiting with you, they walk away and go, that guy, he's a smart man. And they don't really know why they like you so much. Sometimes, more often than not, they just know and realize that something clicked there, and I like that guy. He's a nice guy. Well, what it is You listened to them. You showed interest in them. You paid attention to what it was that they said. And as a result, they found you interesting as well. And they understood that you appreciated them and that you were interested in them. And how many times we've gone through our own life and we've met somebody, and as we walk away from them, our story is either, wow, I really like that guy, he's a really nice guy, or, well, that guy just really seemed like kind of a annoying, kind of a self-centered maybe, or maybe a know-it-all or a bragger. Probably they didn't understand this technique, and they instead were trying to make an impression on you and tell you about them and how good they were and so on, and how you feel about that when you walk away. You kind of think, wow, that guy is a real know-it-all. And you know, I got to confess, I think maybe I was probably looked at that way in my younger years because I didn't understand these principles. Others may have looked at me and said, well, he seems to know all everything. He knows the answers to all this. And I was really just trying to impress upon them that I knew some things, you know. And so being a good listener is way more important. And that's one of the things I've been learning in this book and the other books as well, is that take a look at how you feel when you've met somebody who does all the talking and brags about their life and what they've done and how their vacation was even better than yours, or their job that they were working on was even better than yours, or their experience was scarier, or whatever. They're just trying to, and when you understand what's going on there, you understand the dynamics, you realize that they're just trying to feel good about themselves and trying to make an impression on others. And if you spend time to listen to them more and be impressed with what they have to say, they will be impressed with you because you showed interest in them and you seem to care about their story or their life or whatever. And you know, when you want to get somebody to go along with the plan that you have, one of the most important things you can do is listen to them, because as you listen to them, they will tell you, and that's one of the things I was just reading in this book, is that they will tell you what they want, what they're looking for. They will tell you what interests them. And if you listen, then you can say, okay, what I want can apply to what they want as well. And when you link the two together, now you've got a willing participant and an even eager participant, because they really want to help you accomplish your goals, because it means that they're going to get some of their goals accomplished as well. And that's that win-win that Dennis Waitley has talked about in some of his books and so many others, Zig Ziglar and so on. These men are amazing men of students of people skills and personalities. And it's just amazing to me as I study them, as I read their work, I begin to understand what they're trying to get across to me, how much better my cooperation levels can be with those around me. I know as an employer, when I had people working for me, it seemed like I couldn't get them to do what they needed to do. And I understood that what they needed to do was important for their own job security and safety. And even though it meant risking and losing possibly their job, they still weren't willing to do it. Why? Because I wasn't interested in them. I wasn't working my dreams with their dreams and trying to make them merge together for a common interest. And I wasn't trying to build that teamwork that's so important, you know. So many times I draw the analogies, and I'm sure I probably have here before, of a guy trying to go out and play baseball all by himself. You know, you can't run the bases and catch the fly ball and be the catcher and the pitcher all at once. You can't do all of that stuff. You need the team. And then once you have the team, how well the team works together, how efficient they are, how much they anticipate the other person's needs, the other person's actions. Oh, he's going to run to third base. I know it. I'm going to pitch over there. Whew. And you get them out, you know. Anticipating these things makes the team work together better, and that's how great teams become great. That's how they get to the World Series or the Super Bowl or whatever it is that their sport is. They get there because they have learned these techniques on how to work better with other people and how to listen to their teamwork, to their teammates, and how to make the goal a common goal. We all want to win at this game, you know. Well, your team in your life, whatever it is, whether it's people you work with on a job or whether it's people that you go to school with or maybe a social committee that you work on or something like that, they all have goals that they want to accomplish in their lives. And when you can make their goals mesh with your goals, then you can create a common goal that will make everybody really want to acquire and achieve and work together as efficiently as possible to make this thing work and happen. And you know how much better it is once those team players and the baseball team or the football team, once they start understanding each other and saying, okay, I know that this is how this guy reacts on this circumstance, and I'm going to play accordingly. I'm going to support him. I'm going to help him. I'm going to anticipate his next move. Working in the service industry, I oftentimes would have a young fellow work with me and trying to train him or her, young lady maybe. And what I tried to teach them while they were working with me was to anticipate what I was going to do next and already have that tool handy, or already have that part of the job prepared. I worked with a guy yesterday a little bit doing some air conditioning, and you know, as an experienced person, I've learned what he's going to want. He's going to want to hook up those wires, and so what I did is I went ahead and had all those wires cut to the right length and stripped back, and they were all ready for him. So when it was time for him to hook them up, he just had to put them together and put the little wire nut on, you know. Those are the kind of helpers that I always wanted to have when I was working my jobs, because as those people anticipated my needs, that meant that the job could get done faster and more efficiently, and we would win that way. We'd get a little more profit margin maybe in our job because we got it done quicker than anticipated or something like that, you know. But how much easier the job goes if you're a mechanic maybe and you've got a helper and you're underneath the car and you need a wrench of some kind, and you say to your helper, hey, can you hand me that 5/16 open end wrench, you know, and you stick your hand out there and boom, it falls in your hand. You're like, hey, that was pretty cool. You know, when they anticipate what you're going to need and they've got it all ready and waiting and they just drop it there, you can get your stuff done so much faster and so much easier than having to crawl out from under the car and get over to the toolbox and rummage through the big pile of tools if yours looks like mine. So rummaging through those tools, and then you finally find the one that you think fits. I had this happen to me the other day. I was trying to do an oil change, and I looked at the nut there, and I was thinking, okay, that's got to be a, I don't know, 12 millimeter, I think it was, or something. And I got out and went to the toolbox and picked out the 12 millimeter and crawled back under the car, and I went to stick it on there. Oh, it didn't quite fit. It was a little bit too small. So then I got back out, and eventually, of course, I got smart. Grabbed my toolbox and I pulled it over and slid it under the car with me so I could just kind of reach over. But even then, it's hard to see. Much better to have a helper who can anticipate and help you and, you know, do the things that, the tedious little things that make your job go so much slower. If they're doing that already for you, then you go to reach over and do it and it's already done. You're like, hey, that's pretty slick. I like that. So it's really important for us to listen to each other, listen to what other people want, what their goals and dreams are, what things that excite them, and get them motivated. And as we do that, as a salesperson, if you want to sell something to somebody, you're going to need to know that information. Otherwise, that person isn't going to buy. If you present them with the wrong feature of that thing that you're trying to sell, maybe you're trying to sell a book. Might as well use a book. I got one good one here. If you're trying to sell a book, if you present to them about how to have power with people, with dealing with people, and you don't present to them the confidence, and they're somebody that's a little bit shy and maybe lacking in confidence, you're going to make the wrong presentation. You're going to say, you know, this is an amazing book. It really helps you learn how to, you know, be a better leader and get people to do what you want through power techniques and whatever. Well, you're emphasizing the wrong thing, and it's going to totally not interest them, and they're going to go, well, yeah, that might be a nice book, but, I really need something about confidence more. But when you listen to what they have to say, you let them talk, you encourage them to talk. What is the easiest subject for us to talk about? The one that we know the most about. And what do we know more about than us? So if you can get somebody to talk about themselves, that's an easy thing. Hey, how are you today? Pretty good. You kind of know right away he's either, kind of a depressed sort of a dragon person, maybe an Eeyore. Oh, I'm doing all right. Or, man, I'm doing great. How about you? Now you know that's a motivated guy. So you've learned a little something about them already. And then you say, well, what is it you do for a living? Well, I work at this job in the factory and I kind of assemble car parts. Oh, well, he doesn't like his job. We know that already. Or, oh, man, I'm an engineer and I design whatchamajiggers for the thingamabobs. And I'm just so excited because we got the best whatchamajiggers out there. And so you find out things, and people are willing to talk about themselves. I remember a fellow that I know, and I won't mention his name, but you get him talking about himself, and the first thing he would talk about was his job. And, oh, yeah, those guys, they just are constantly taking advantage of us, and we can never make good money anymore. They're always cutting our rate. And, he just had negative things to say about his job. And when you got to know him better, you realize that, in general, he was kind of a negative guy. And, how much better he could have done at his job if he'd have been more upbeat, more positive, and even to the point of telling himself, I really do like my job, because we hear what we say. If you're an Eeyore guy and somebody says, how you doing? And you go, oh, well, I'm doing okay for the shape I'm in. My back's been bothering me. And, well, the more you focus on those things and those problems, the more negative and the more Eeyore you become. Because now you're telling yourself, you're not just telling them, but your own ears hear, and they go, oh, yeah, I really am feeling bad today. Oh, my back is just killing me. And, whatever their ailment is, I got this rash or, whatever. And the more they dwell on that, the more negative and the more dejected and down they become. Whereas a guy that's upbeat might not be having that great of a day. He might have got up with a backache or maybe a neck ache from being, sleeping in the wrong spot all night long. Speaking of that, I can adjust mine. But, he gets up and somebody says, how you doing? And he says, man, I feel great. I'm doing great today. And hearing himself say that in his own mind, his own ears hear what he just spoke. And then all of a sudden he's starting to say, yeah, I am feeling all right today. I am doing great. It just reinforces. So be careful what you reinforce, It's the story of the two wolves that fight inside of all of us. And I was watching a movie the other day, Tomorrowland, I believe it was, and it's really a good movie. Nice family movie, good storyline about kids and adults. But this young lady tells her dad, you've always been telling me there's two wolves inside of each of us, and there's the bad wolf that focuses on the negative and the bad things in our lives, and there's the good wolf that focuses on making things good happen. And which one wins? And the dad was like, kind of sheepish because, he's getting taught his own lesson from his daughter. But so he, kind of hesitates to answer. And she says, it's fine. You don't have to answer. I know what it is. And you do too. Well, he eventually answered. He's like, yeah, I know. It's the one you feed. And so she was trying to tell him to feed the good wolf, And it's the same way with our attitude, our daily attitude. If you constantly wake up and tell yourself, man, this is a great day, it's going to be a great day, I'm doing well today, we're going to make some progress today, then that's the kind of day you're going to get because you fed the good wolf, and the bad wolf was starving and became weaker because it didn't get fed. If you're constantly feeding that bad wolf, then you're going to be that Eeyore guy, and you're going to be moping around and going, oh man, I woke up with a headache and I don't feel good, and I can't wait for this day to get over. So Be careful about that, about what you feed in yourself. But then you also feed those things in other people. But it's so important to listen to those people, getting back to that topic. Listen to others, let them tell you about themselves so that you know better how to work with them. Well, this is an Eeyore kind of guy, so I'm going to have to try and be a little more optimistic and try and encourage them a little more and help them get motivated. And, maybe I'm going to have to point out some things about the book that will help them with that, and help them accomplish more, because people will be more willing to work with them because they're upbeat. Or maybe it'll be the other way around, where, this is one of those Eeyore guys and we're going to have to, maybe I got that backwards already. Maybe he's an upbeat guy already, and, we know how to work with that already. So anyway, listen to others, let them tell you what they are feeling, what they are thinking. It'll go a long ways in helping you accomplish your goals, because you can work those goals together and help accomplish those. And as you learn these techniques, as you learn to apply them to your life, you get better at it, you'll start seeing big results. You'll start seeing that you can truly excel. And that's what we want to help you with today, is helping other people excel. And it's like planting a seed. When you plant the seed, you don't instantly get from one little kernel of corn, you don't instantly get thousands of kernels from 5 years that grow on that stalk. No, it takes time. So I encourage you to not only learn the techniques, but begin to practice them in your life. Read these books over and over again, because you tend to forget what you read a week from now, a month from now. And so consequently, a technique that hit you in the forehead and you went, aha, that's a good one, I'm going to use that. A week from now, a month from now, you kind of forgot, because we tend to go back to our old habits. And so read these books, listen to some good audios. Zig Ziglar and all these guys, Orrin Woodward and Chris Brady are some amazing speakers, motivational speakers. And the more you listen to them, the more you learn about these techniques, the more they begin to become ingrained in your thinking, and you'll be able to use them in your day-to-day life. And the more you use them in your day-to-day life, the more that one little seed begins to grow and begins to sprout. And as it grows and sprouts, it eventually brings forth the fruit in your life that you're looking for, of being successful and of excelling, whether it's financially or whether it's just in getting other people to want to cooperate with you in common goals. Whatever it is, those techniques are going to help you, and they're going to help you in a big way. Well, it looks like our half hour is up now, and I'm always sad to see it go. But I sure enjoyed spending this time with you, and thank you for having me into your home. And I hope that something here that I've said has been a blessing and a ministry to you and your heart and your life. Please, again, drop me a line, jim.pate@gmail.com, or give me a call, 616-799-0517. Let me know. That'll be an encouragement to me, and know that I'm on track and helping others. So thanks again for spending time. Have a blessed week.
Because you believed in me,
I can believe in you.
I can believe in me.
Because you pushed me to be better.
You pushed me to be better.
I learned to push myself.
Because you showed me respect.
Respect.
I respect others.
I respect myself.
Because you showed me a place.
I can use everything you taught me.
I found my place.
I have found my place.
This is my place.
For all the young men and women in the United States Air Force, there was one person who showed them the possibilities and opened the door. To the teachers, counselors, ministers, and moms and dads who helped a young man or young woman discover that the greatest force of all is inside of themselves, we thank you. And more importantly,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
they thank you.